When it comes to using memory techniques, imagination plays the biggest role in memory techniques because you use your imagination and creativity to change the information into images and then create a story out of those images. But there's one thing people do that is the absolute worst thing you could do for your imagination and creativity. So let's say, for example, I had information, I came up with images, and I created a story. And the story is what you see on the screen. I had Pikachu, who has a mustache, is walking his shoe, his pet shoe, out in space, and it's raining pizzas. So that's what I picture. And maybe I'm telling somebody the story. They're like, wow, that is so crazy and imaginative. Here's more information. Create more stories. And so I'll do it again and again. And that's the thing that's the most dangerous to your imagination. It's always relying on other people to come up with images or stories for you. Because you're just relying on these people's imagination and creativity. You're not relying on your own. And that's what's so dangerous because I've helped people who always wanted me to come up with images for the information, come up with the stories for those images. But at the end of the day, they're not engaging their imagination. They're not developing it. And the only way you could do that is actually going out and creating images and stories. Yeah, they might stink in the beginning, but who cares? You're going to get better as you do it more and more often, right? And so that's the worst thing you could do, relying on other people's ideas, imagination, and creativity. And it doesn't matter if you're watching a show or TV, and that's what you're always falling back on. No, come up with your own. Get something, some words, write a story, whatever, and just write whatever comes to your mind. Create a story with whatever words you have on your own. And it might not sound good, but when it comes to memory techniques, it doesn't matter. As long as you're able to remember the story, that's all that matters. And the most memorable stories are the ones that you create compared to the ones I'm going to create. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what information this story even means, right? Because I created the images and the stories. So all of this information is encoded specifically to me. And when you create your own stories, the information is going to be encoded specifically to you. And so that's the biggest thing people struggle with, and the biggest thing that hurts people's imagination and creativity is that they rely on other people for imagination and creativity. And so that's something that if you're doing that right now, kind of get away from it as soon as possible. But in the beginning, of course, it makes sense that, okay, how are you creating these stories? Kind of getting tips, kind of taking notes on how people are creating stories, why they're so creative. But there's a point where you have to kind of graduate from that and just go on yourself, have confidence in your own imagination and creativity. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed this little story right here, this little picture, because it's absolutely amazing. And I'll see you next time.